Otis, how are you this morning? You ready for a little walk? Well, we'll go do some pavement pounding this morning. Stand at Wranglers on Chepstow Road, which denotes the beginning of Eveswell. So this is the area between Beechwood and Maindy. And Beechwood is to the east of Eveswell and Maindy is to the west of Eveswell. And we'll take a look through. Okay, this is now a tattoo place. This used to be hairdressers. I'm not quite sure what this one used to be back when I was a kid, but this one is where the spa was. As we walk along here, then we have these were all houses until we got to the two at the end, and this is where Troth's, the greengrocers, were. And just the other side of Rochester Road, where the barber shop is, this used to be Garrett's. Garrett's was a newsagent back in the 70s and 80s, and they closed down in the, I think, late 80s. And there's a story back in the newspaper in the 70s of a child being stolen, snatched from outside Garrett's. As we trundle further along, this has always been a chemist, and the Mayflower has always been a Chinese takeaway. I forget what it is originally called. I used to go there as a kid with my dad. Can't remember what it was. And this one has always been Eveswell Tandoori, as far as I remember. Opposite us we have the Eveswell School, looking very different these days. Used to be a stone-built building, looking quite glamorous actually, and that and the one in Maindy got bulldozed down and the modern schools built behind. What do you think, Otis? Okay, and this has always been the doctors forever in the day at St Malo and St Ives. And this is not the doctors anymore, it is now Eveswell Studios apartments. Okay, things do change. And the Seventh-day Adventist Church has always been such. This way, Otis. And over on our right we've got the Kensington Court Clinic. This is now a dental practice. It used to be a hotel back in its day, Kensington Court Hotel. Yeah, it's been a dentist, I think, for probably 20-30 years. I look at these old houses. At one time these have been the bee's knees of places to live. I'll just take you across the road and over to Kensington Place. Now, at the end of Kensington Place and the Grove, we'll actually walk up the Grove, and there's an old building I'd like to show you at the back, which was one time Kensington Club. There's a lot of history behind it. I'll dig up some information on it, but for now I'll just show you where it is and maybe put a little clip at the end of Kensington Court as it was. So if I just take a little womble up the centre of the road here, we're at Kensington Grove, and you'll get to see what's left of the ruin at the top here. And as we head up Kensington Grove, you'll get to see Kensington Court at the end. This was set fire to about 15 years ago now. The current owners apparently were involved in an arson and attack on it for insurance purposes, which is a big shame because the Kensington Club was an amazing place and had some amazing architecture and lots of history from way back in the 1800s. And here it is. looking very empty and shell-like now. Okay, Otis, let's carry on. Keeping very quiet this morning because we're still around early doors, just after 6 o'clock. And as you can tell, I've gone back to the original camera setting. 1 second, just spin around. There we go. Just you can see a bit better now. And here we are coming up to the B4327, which is the main Chepstow Road, which runs from the Newport town centre. We've got there, it's just got a nice scent from the Newport town centre right the way up to the Cauldre. I'm just going to wait for this bus to go past and then we'll cross over. Okay, Otis, you ready? Let's cross the road. Good boy. You're such a good dog. Yes, you are. So we're now walking towards Maindy. Maindy starts at the Wharf Road junction and Victoria Avenue junction of Chepstow Road. I'm just going to walk down this way to show you the view of what was Gwent Broadcasting. So this is for Andy and Damien, just a little bit memorabilia for you. And this building over here on our right, coming into view, is where Gwent Broadcasting had their studios. All the aerials and everything have gone now, many years back. They were all taken down in the late 90s. A lot of them were still there till then, but hey ho, there we go. Right, we're going to head back up this way. I think if we walk down this next street, which is Oxford Street, opposite us is Kensington Place, which leads right the way up to Woodland Park, and there's a video of us walking around Woodland Park. Let's head down Eveswell Street. And Eveswell leads. This isn't Eveswell Street. This is Archibald Street at the end. And this is the sort of the horizontal street that runs parallel with Chepstow Road for a little while before it joins onto Conway Road. And opposite us we've got the Cat's Whiskers. It's a barber shop, and this is run by a chap called Barry. He's been here for hundreds of years. I used to go to Barry when I was a kid to get my hair cut. He's actually only about 15 years older than me, I guess. But hey ho, here we go. Let's take a little look. Real good old Cat's Whiskers. Right, Otis, let's walk along this way. Now, in wartime, several of these houses got destroyed in the Second World War, and at the end of here a load of prefabs were built, very similar to the ones that we saw at Bishpool and Treberth. Come on, Otis. And directly opposite us we have the community centre. Now apparently the community centre of Eveswell is actually located at the well of Eves. This is where the well would have been many, many moons ago, in the days before we had Welsh water. Come on, Otis. And on our left, which has been there forever and ever, is the fire brigade, the fire station. And these houses here on the right have been renovated or rebuilt totally from where the prefabs were. So there were originally 4 prefabs here. The guys bought them up and built their own house on the land. Absolutely lovely. And now for a little bit of nostalgia. Who remembers Pells sweets? Yes, good old Pells mints. Yeah, in 1867 they came to light, and the Pells family opened up the sweet manufacturing plant here on the border of Archibald Street and Conway Road. This way, Otis. If I cross over towards the fire station, you'll notice there's some amazing artwork here. And a chap, a street artist, about just over a year ago now, in the COVID times, he was franchised to paint all this, and he did an amazing job. And this was the original Pells sweet manufacturing plant. It's now owned by Sealer Confectionery Limited, and was Bray's Sweets for quite a while. And here we are. Andy O'Rourke has signed his masterpiece. Absolutely. So the Pells sweets were very renowned in this area to be amazing. And look at all this artwork right the way around. And this is basically what the Pells mint looked like. But Bray Sweets have taken them over, and in doing so, they had to shut down their Barry plant. Now, Bray Sweets may be familiar to yourselves, maybe not. It's a good old Welsh sweet, and the St Fagans Museum, they have a very old-fashioned sweet shop there, and they're renowned for selling Bray sweets, which they still do, but they're made by the Sealer company now. And we're just walking underneath the railway lines. So this is actually called Soho Tunnel, and it leads to Soho Lane. And Soho Lane was very well utilised in the wartime. There's a lot of artillery were built here, and there was even a weapons deployment centre here where they distributed guns, etc. in the war effort. So that was the Second World War, 1939 through to 1944. And this is Soho Lane. Probably doesn't look too much different to it did back then. And after the wartime, the ground was re-prepared for standard telephones. If you remember me talking about standard telephones and cables, all this land on the left of me behind these railings was owned by Standard Telephones, and it was quite a colossus site. But going way back into the 1800s, this was also a brickworks. And I believe it was the Alexandra brickworks and pottery. And towards the end of Soho Lane, this part here is where the coal merchants were, and they used to unload all the coal from the railway. As you look down, you may just about to see the railway sidings just above. There are 12 sidings altogether, which would have at one time been full of coal shunters picking up and dropping off coal in Newport. Okay, well, one last thing. I'm going to take a little walk down the lane here, which used to lead to the entrance of Standard Telephones. We're actually leaving the Eveswell area now, but on our left is where Standard Telephones and Cables were. If I can find a gap, I will see if I can show you. It's a little bit difficult. Right there, Otis, don't pull on me too much. There we go. So it's still looking very barren after Standard Telephones left it. It's all been bulldozed down, but a lot of the site was reclaimed and used for housing. So some brand new housing estates over this side. I'm going to take just a little walk through before we sign off for the morning. And as we emerge from the lane, we'll follow around to our left and we'll get to see the original entrance of the Standard Telephones and Cables company. And also from here you get a good view overlooking all of Eveswell. You've got the fire brigade, the fire station, and you've got St John's Church. You can see the railway line in the foreground, and looking up over the hill, this was all Eveswell area, and still is. But there we are, it's a sight for sore eyes there, seeing the Standard Telephone Cables site not being used at all. Well, this part of it anyway. The rest of it has been developed into a new housing estate. We'll take you over that way now. So you've got the older type houses here, the original ones, and as we walk through you've got a new development. Okay, just come on baby boy, this way. I'll take you through the new housing development. This was all part of Standard Telephones and Cables at one time. And this is Loftus Avenue. We'll just take you for a little walk around the park. And these are the new style houses. It's a lovely little park actually. You've got a little lily pond. Wow. And a heron. Wonderful. And this is known as Loftus Garden Village. This way, Otis. And here we are, Loftus Garden Village. Notice board. Okay, Otis, let's go over here and take a seat and we'll sign off for the day. So thank you for joining us. Hope you found it interesting this morning. Different sort of walk. Certainly not a grass park from the plane, but we're going to head up to Beechwood Park now so you can get a good run. So, till next time, I'll say cheerio. Please click the like button. Don't forget to subscribe, and leave some comments. So all the best from Otis and I. Followed by a small zoom. Okay, Otis, stop. And down. Good boy.